flow in and over the St. Louis area, backed up by another area of high pressure over southern Lake Michigan, and we are in a quiet break of a pattern here for late summer. Temperatures were cooler today than normal, mild by summer standards, and overnight tonight, check out some of these numbers, dropping into the 50s away from Metro St. Louis overnight tonight. So a cool start out the door coming up on our Thursday. Forest Park time lapse view for you this evening. Paddle boats coming and going. A great evening for a stroll through the park. Great look from our Renewal by Anderson web camera. Here's Lambert Airport. It's where the current temperature is sitting at 73 degrees. We've dropped off nicely as the sun has gone down. Northeast winds at 7, dew point at 52, comfortable air, humidity 48%, pressure 30.01 inches, and it is steady. The former president is about to speak, so let's send things over to Mandy Murphy.
All right, thank you. And we continue to take you live to the DNC, and former President Barack Obama is reinforcing his support of Joe Biden as the next president. He's addressing the DNC tonight. Let's listen in.
Generations to come. I'm in Philadelphia, where our Constitution was drafted and signed. It wasn't a perfect document. It allowed for the inhumanity of slavery and failed to guarantee women, and even men who didn't own property, the right to participate in the political process. But embedded in this document was a North Star that would guide future generations. A system of representative government, a democracy, through which we could better realize our highest ideals. Through civil war and bitter struggles, we improved this Constitution to include the voices of those who'd once been left out. And gradually, we made this country more just and more equal and more free. The one constitutional office elected by all of the people is the presidency. So at a minimum, we should expect a president to feel a sense of responsibility for the safety and welfare of all 330 million of us, regardless of what we look like, how we worship, who we love, how much money we have, or who we voted for. But we should also expect a president to be the custodian of this democracy. We should expect that regardless of ego, ambition, or political beliefs, the president will preserve, protect, and defend the freedoms and ideals that so many Americans marched for, went to jail for, fought for, and died for. I have sat in the Oval Office with both of the men who are running for president. I never expected that my successor would embrace my vision or continue my policies. I did hope, for the sake of our country, that Donald Trump might show some interest in taking the job seriously, that he might come to feel the weight of the office and discover some reverence for the democracy that had been placed in his care. But he never did. For close to 4 years now, he has shown no interest in putting in the work, no interest in finding common ground, no interest in using the awesome power of his office to help anyone but himself and his friends. No interest in treating the presidency as anything but one more reality show that he can use to get the attention he craves. Donald Trump hasn't grown into the job because he can't. And the consequences of that failure are severe. 170,000 Americans dead. Millions of jobs gone, while those at the top take in more than ever. Our worst impulses unleashed, our proud reputation around the world badly diminished, and our democratic institutions threatened like never before. Now, I know that in times as polarized as these, most of you have already made up your mind. But maybe you're still not sure which candidate you'll vote for, or whether you'll vote at all. Maybe you're tired of the direction we're headed, but you can't see a better path yet. or you just don't know enough about the person who wants to lead us there. So let me tell you about my friend, Joe Biden. 12 years ago, when I began my search for a vice president, I didn't know I'd end up finding a brother. Joe and I come from different places, different generations, but what I quickly came to admire about Joe Biden is his resilience, born of too much struggle, his empathy, born of too much grief. Joe is a man who learned early on to treat every person he meets with respect and dignity, living by the words his parents taught him. No one's better than you, Joe, but you're better than nobody. That empathy, that decency, the belief that everybody counts, that's who Joe is. When he talks with someone who's lost her job, Joe remembers the night his father sat him down to say that he'd lost his. When Joe listens,
you are listening to former President Barack Obama setting the table for Senator Kamala Harris, the first African-American president in America's history, getting ready to hand it over to what could be the first vice presidential nominee female of color in America's history. We will check back in on the scene from the Democratic National Convention coming up later in this broadcast. Still ahead tonight, a call for change by the wife of Chief David Dorn in the wake of his murder.
I want to be able to use this to help more people.
In a Fox 2 exclusive, she talks about her effort to bring peace to St. Louis. Plus,
tonight, we hear the story of a resilient community leader who has overcome trials and has taken on a new position to help bring St. Louis together.
and let's take you to Illinois with a look over Waterloo Square, courtesy of our BMW of West St. Louis Drone Fox. Welcome back to Fox 2 News at 9. A call to action by the wife of David Dorn, the beloved police chief who was murdered earlier this summer.
And Dorn is asking for the public to join her as she marches through downtown St. Louis in a peace march. She spoke exclusively with Fox 2's Jasmine Huda in a story that's all new at 9.
It's been about 2.5 months since David Dorn was shot and killed by looters during a night of violence and unrest. Ann Dorn tells me she wants to make sure her husband's legacy is not forgotten. She's organizing a movement that she hopes will help with the healing for the city of St. Louis and for her.
This is my favorite picture from the last time we were on vacation together. His favorite place, just being on a beach.
David Dorn lived life to the fullest, and he did it with his wife, Ann, by his side.
It hurts. I miss him a lot. It wasn't supposed to be like this.
June 2nd, during a night of violence and unrest, the retired police chief and captain was working security outside a St. Louis pawn shop when he was killed by looters.
He would have talked to him. He would have done anything he could to help him. If one of them needed help, if one of them said, well, hey, I need this TV, I'm going to go sell it for $20 so I can get something for one of my kids, he'd have given him $20 out of his pocket. I mean, that was one of our biggest arguments. He was always handing money to people. Like, stop. But that's the kind of person he was. The flags, one flew over the state capitol of Missouri and one flew over the Capitol in Washington, D.C.
As the city and even the nation's capital honors David Dorn,
we are especially moved to be joined by the family of a great man, fallen officer David Dorn.
I was completely humbled by that, the fact that he would want to honor David.
Ann Dorn is leading a movement, and she wants the public to join her. She'll take to the streets of downtown St. Louis August 29th in what she is calling a peace march.
Let's be the leading example for the nation of, healing. Let's heal our community. Let's figure out why these young people are picking up guns and just shooting to each other. Why? I want his memory to be brought about, and his memory to be about making change, to try and heal.
The Peace March will be Saturday, August 29th at 10 a.m. It begins at police headquarters on Olive, and it will end near the Civil Courts building. Jasmine Huda, Fox 2 News.